We be live. Hello, Durud and Shalom. My name is Armin Navabi.
And I'm Ali Samani. Welcome back, everybody. We are your Iran experts, and today we have some important analysis to get to you guys, along with some news. More ships have been hit. Some Chinese vessels are now being targeted. Interesting. China is not getting a bypass anymore by the Islamic Republic of Iran. France has expelled some IRGC diplomats, rather, and Israel and Syria have been getting more and more involved. Israel actually conducted airstrikes on a Syrian military base last night, along with the Houthis being more active, and the continued collapse of the Islamic Republic is on speed dial at the moment. Top Islamic Republic analysts are saying we should mine the Gulf of Florida here, and we have statements from Araghchi, Ghalibaf, and Pezeshkian. Some people are pointing fingers in the Islamic Republic. What a surprise. And as always, the Islamic Republic supporters. Grab some messages. As always, the only thing that bothers these people is money and the price of gasoline. It doesn't matter how many people have to die for the supporters of the Islamic Republic, but as soon as you raise the costs for them, they start cracking. And so what we're going to start off with is a couple of Trump statements and why they're particularly important, including a shared post of Senator Lindsey Graham before he passed with the Make Iran Great Again hat. And we'll get into the ships hit, and then we'll get into the Islamic Republic. So the Islamic Republic part today is going to be pretty important. We have some pretty good statements. And let's get started with President Donald Trump. Here is our Truth Social post. The first and most important of the day is here. There are no talks or conversations going on or scheduled with the Islamic Republic of Iran. The naval blockade remains in full force and effect. The Hormuz Strait is open and operating. All water mines have been removed or detonated. Well, the Hormuz Strait is open and operating can mean anything at this point, really. More ships are being hit. In fact, the Islamic Republic launched missiles about an hour and a half ago from Syria towards the Strait of Hormuz, largely believed to have been targeting a Chinese vessel called the Hestia. The important part we're going to zoom in here is there are no talks or conversations going on or scheduled with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Armin, for months we heard Donald Trump say, we are talking with them. The talks are going good. Now we hear there are no talks going on or scheduled. What do you think about that?
I think we told you so. There's no making deal with these people. There's no negotiating with these people. There's no coming up with agreement with these people. These people are terrorists, and you're not going to get anything out of them talking to them. And this is a demonstration that we were correct all this time. You're not going to get anything out of these people. No matter how much you negotiate, you will always come to the conclusion that we have been telling you from the beginning. No results from negotiating with terrorists.
Correct. And so, guys, I'm thinking of starting another live stream that's going to be streamed on both of our channels, both Liberty Politics and Adi Samani. And then it's just going to be me on screen, and I'll be talking for about anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour, just going more in depth onto what we can expect, analysis type of things, and covering a few more points. So if you guys would like to see that, let me know. And I think Donald Trump was maybe looking for a Delcy Rodriguez this whole time. Replicate the Venezuela model, talk to Ghalibaf, perhaps Pezeshkian, even though everyone was telling him the real people with power are the IRGC. So then a couple days ago, he says, I'm going to bypass the Islamic Republic officials. I'm going to go straight to Vahidi through the Kurdistan region president. And then that failed. He's probably, he's been fed up for a while. He's realized you can't talk to these people. What are our options now? Got the continuation of the blockade. You got military strikes. Is there anything else other than that?
I think the options will force themselves on you, because when you corner a dog, and it's going to bite, and then you have to now respond to it trying to bite. If you really, I think the United States has been very successful at cornering the Islamic Republic, so it's going to jump at you and bite. And now you have to respond to that.
You know, we've been saying this. You've been saying this. I've been saying this. Some other people have been saying this. If you push the Islamic Republic and contain it, and you blockade them, they will act. They will strike you. And we've seen the preparations for that, haven't we? Well, what's the likelihood, in your opinion, that the Islamic Republic will, like a cornered animal, lash out?
Say that again. But sorry, saying, is it rabbit, Armin? Yes, rabbit dog. No offense to healthy ducks.
So once you corner this animal, the Islamic Republic, what are the chances, in your opinion, that they will make the first move? They'll lash out like a cornered animal.
Okay, so they are going to try to lash out as a corner animal. So you might think like, okay, the United States is happy with the current situation. They have found a very, very effective way at weakening the Islamic Republic without much political cost and military cost. So maybe then the assessment would be like, okay, the Islamic Republic is not happy with this, so they're going to make the first move, right? Which makes sense, but the problem with that is that the Americans and Israelis could see before the Islamic Republic makes the first move that they are about to make the first move. So if the Islamic Republic is trying to make the first move, that might get the Americans and Israelis to make the first move before the Islamic Republic makes the first move, right? They might do that, or they might let the Islamic Republic make the first move, because politically, United States might need to show internally that we didn't make the first move before the midterms, right? So if the Islamic Republic tries to make the first move before the midterms, it is possible the United States is going to let them make the first move and then respond. After the midterms, given that President Trump doesn't have to worry about elections as much, maybe if they notice that they're making the first move, they're going to attack before the Islamic Republic is going to make the first move.
Even Salah Sanajad tweeted today saying that it looks like the Islamic Republic is gearing up for an October strike or escalation on the United States of America. That would be pre-midterms, which are in November. So that's largely in line with what we've been thinking. The second post, ladies and gentlemen, that was shared by Donald Trump in Truth Social was this. And if you take a look, not only is this Senator Lindsey Graham, let me just copy this image address, actually. Probably be a better way of showing it. Look at this. You guys notice anything? Anything in particular?
Love that picture.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Michelle Gracie's right. The hat. So he's reposting this. He's alluded to a lot of things like this: make Iran great again, Iranian people, this and that. A lot of what I like to call teasing, full-blown support here. What do you make of this hat being shown again? Because not only was Lindsey Graham a proponent of the Iranian people, but what do you think?
I think we lost our greatest ally in one of our greatest allies in U.S. government, and there's no replacing him.
Yeah.
Who posted this?
Donald Trump.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, that's a bigger deal. I forgot.
Yeah, Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social.
I was just. Okay, never mind. That's a big deal.
Do you think there's any more significance? Because Lindsey Graham was, Iranian people, Iranian people. He attended
So
the
it is
rallies.
okay.
He met with
Yes,
Princess Pahlavi.
it is a big deal. It is a big deal. It is a big deal. But we have to be careful because we have been here so many times, right?
Correct.
And President Trump likes to flirt with these things, right? And we have, and many times it leads to certain actions, and many times it doesn't. So here's the thing. Here's a conservative take. We have to look at what happens rather than what is being hinted at happening, right? Actual events rather than hints, because we don't know. We don't know, because so many times people have been trying to predict, like, oh, he said this here, so this connects to that, and that connects to that, and that means he's going to do this, and then he did the opposite, right? So I think the best way is like, okay, thank you. What we know happens is President Trump posted something that supports the Iranian people, right? The post itself, in isolation of whatever happens in the future, is a good event, is something good that by itself, without it indicating anything else in the future, by itself, in vacuum, irrelevant of what this hint might be hinting at or not, is a reminder of the Iranian people and our cause for making Iran great again. So it by itself is a good thing without us having to analyze whether this is hinting at something that might happen in the future. How about that?
Yep. To me, it's kind of like teasing constantly about these things. I really want to see some sort of concrete statement here. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got to the oil situation, and it's taking a turn. Oil prices are slowly creeping up again. The futures are rising as we speak. And let's start with a ship hit in the Bab el-Mandeb. This ship was hit a little bit differently than usual. Show you guys the location of where it was hit. Here it is. Complete loss. That's a little different. The UK MTO reported that this ship is now a complete constructive loss, meaning that's what happens when a ship hits a mine. It's a complete loss. Whatever hit this ship, or however many missiles hit it, is completely torn it apart. That's not a good sign. For one thing, prices go up, ship safety goes down, but also Saudi Arabia and all the countries that just formed an alliance with it and a pact and came out showing all their generals and their ships and all of that kind of look like a joke. Maybe they are. I'm not really sure. But let's go into the rest of it. So, guys, you might be wondering, why is the price of oil staying low? Even though right now ships are still being hit, the price is going a little bit back up. Why is the price of oil low? If you take a look at the marine tracker websites, you're not going to see any ships transiting the Strait of Hormuz. So apparently, according to several media, and according to us from a few months ago, actually one of the first people reporting that ships were just turning off their transponders and going through, the US had some refueling tankers up in the sky, which meant that they were escorting them. Bloomberg is now coming out and saying, yeah, so there's actually going to be larger ships inside the Persian Gulf that load up on hundreds of thousands, if not millions of barrels of oil, come closer to the strait. When they get to the strait, instead of transiting it themselves, because they're very heavy and slow moving, they will conduct ship-to-ship transfers to smaller, faster ships that carry maybe several 100,000 barrels, perhaps, and those will go through the Strait of Hormuz with their transponders off and under the safety of the United States. That's largely proven to be effective, and we started reporting about that. I'd say about 3 weeks ago is when we got that news out to you guys. So now that's being pushed by news like Bloomberg and other such larger media. And Chinese oil tankers are now being targeted. So this is the Strait of Hormuz, ladies and gentlemen. And a Chinese tanker today, one of two, by the way. The first one attempted to come from inside the Strait of Hormuz and get to the outside world. It took the IRGC route. It paid the toll, and it was told to turn around. What do y'all think about that? Very interesting to me. Chinese-owned VLCC, very large crude carrier. Uh-oh. Not a good idea. Well, looks like they're back to pissing off China. The Islamic Republic is. And that's not the only thing that they did, ladies and gentlemen. A couple hours ago, and this was hilarious to me personally, I was seeing a Chinese ship traverse the Strait of Hormuz, coming in from the outside and using the American lane to get in. Well, this ship was called the Hestia. And this ship may very well have been hit tonight because there were a couple missile launches from Syria about 2 hours ago at this point, and we have not seen the ship since or heard from it. Its transponder was on, it's no longer on. Not too unusual because it's traversing the Strait of Hormuz, but given the fact that the Chinese ship was turned around earlier trying to get out, most people are thinking it was definitely hit going in as well. This is called the Hestia. So if this comes out anytime soon that this ship was hit, again, heard it here first. Regardless, they did turn around a Chinese ship. It's not going to be looking good in terms of the Chinese here, who are trying to desperately load up on more oil, and they're buying as much as they can from Iraq. So that Chinese ship was coming from Iraq, who is in desperate need of oil money. They've been one of the biggest, if not the biggest, losers of this entire debacle. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that this is going to have some pretty big repercussions here for the Islamic Republic. So the Chinese are resorting to this. Over here, we got Fujairah. This is a UAE oil facility, and the Chinese will just stop here and load up on oil rather than going through the Strait of Hormuz and into the Persian Gulf. This plant has seen a several-fold increase in oil production, going particularly to the Chinese, who love it, absolutely love it. It's just way safer to get oil there. Now, here's the big part. Here's something that will affect all of you guys in the short-term future. This is a graph of diesel. Diesel has now hit $102. As you guys can see, maybe if I can show you down here, as we entered August, just about a week and a half ago, diesel was back at $80. Not too bad. And then it shot up immediately from $80 to $102 in one fell swoop, just a matter of a week. That's raising some questions. Why was it raised so high so fast? And what are the implications? Diesel will power your trucks. Whatever you need to get from A to B, industry, bulldozers, kind of think like that, any sort of transportation truck, that is the cost. That's what runs on this. And so, yeah, it's going to rise the prices of things here in the short-term future. Not really good for inflation, but this is, of course, a necessary cost of this conflict. I'm still kind of wondering why it rose so fast in just 1 week here. If it stays in this elevated level, that's kind of a timer for the United States as well. So, because if you just take a look at the graph pre-war, you can see on the left side, it was pretty low. In January is actually about $34, and then it hits the conflict, rises up to about 40, 45. And during the war, peak, it reached about $97. We're now at 102. Some things are happening behind the scenes. But not all is truly well and lost, ladies and gentlemen, because according to Energy Secretary Chris Wright, I'm just going to tell you what he says here. He is wearing an ExxonMobil hat, and he is in the Permian Basin right now. He's telling us that Texas, the Permian Basin, West Texas, has quadrupled its output of oil and increased its liquid natural gas output by 7 times, contributing to the fact that America's made over $100 billion in the past 6 months selling oil. if you take a look, depending on most graphs, the United States is now the top exporter of oil in the world, more than any other country. In fact, probably more than the next two countries put together. States like Texas produce more oil than the next biggest exporter of oil in the world at the moment. Texas produces more oil than the next largest oil producer in the world. That is where we're at the moment. Of course, the reason's clear. Texas quadrupled its production. At the same time, the Strait of Hormuz is an issue for these countries to produce as much oil as they can be. But what we're trying to tell you is that the US is profiting heavily, a lot. The criticism you'll hear about that, and Armin, I'm sure you have something to say about this, but a lot of people will say, well, that's going into the pockets of the corporations. It's not exactly reaching my table, is it? What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, we love corporations. Corporations are private businesses. The more money corporations make, the more prosperous a society gets. We're capitalists. We're here, and we like profit. And we, United States is the most powerful country in the world, partly because it has the biggest and most profitable corporations. So yes, go corporations. But my criticism would be another one, is that the energy industry in the United States is not the only industry. So it's not that the United States is making a profit. It's the oil industry, the energy industry in the United States is making a profit. And for every other industry, energy is a cost. For the energy industry, energy sales is a revenue, but for every other U.S. industry, it's a cost. So the United States is not just its energy industry. So it benefits one industry, but it hurts every single other industry. So you have to take that into account as well. So the energy industry profits, the tech industry, their costs increase, and every other industry, the food industry, the tech industry, the transportation industry, the tourist industry, every industry hurts while the energy industry benefits.
Right. And so that's the US side and the world oil markets. Now let's get into the sped up collapse of the Islamic Republic. So I took some notes here, and we have a article from the New York Post that is written by Miad Maliki, who is one of the oil experts on Iran, part of the Iranian opposition like us. So I'm not going to pull up the article here. There's a ton of ads, but I will bring up a picture so that you guys have something pretty to look at. Yes. Here it is. Karg Island. So, for those of you who don't know, just a bit of basic knowledge, the Islamic Republic makes most of its money from selling oil. Isn't that true, Armin?
Yes, very much.
And then, Armin, how does the government of the Islamic Republic pay its troops, its government employees, its security forces, the industrial workers? Most people are employed by the government, right? So how does it pay these people? With what money does it pay them?
Oil revenues and gas revenues.
Oh, yeah, they're not really selling any oil and gas at the moment, are they?
Okay, I know what to do. You print money. How about that?
Oh, yeah. You can just make more money. Why not? Right. But Armin, wouldn't that make everything like more expensive? Because if I have a bunch more money, but then everyone else also has a bunch more money, but then the goods, the amount of them stay the same, doesn't that make everything more expensive?
Yes, you're basically stealing from people's pockets by printing money. You're basically stealing. It's a hidden tax.
So if the government prints more money and just gives it out, that means the money that I worked so hard to get is now worth less. But then the goods are more expensive.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
That's how you get 300% inflation rates.
That's why you get 89% inflation per month. Anyway,
That's how you get empty fridges.
that actually, we'll get to that in a second. So the first point was they're not selling oil and gas. Most of the employees work for the government. The government has no money. You get paid on a monthly basis, your salary. Well, we're approaching the next paycheck. I think we're about to find out what happens when people don't get paid anymore, particularly supporters of the Islamic Republic who are not going to get paid for the month of September coming up.
I saw a video, Ali, from inside Iran from this young person, a young woman who used to be middle class, and she was showing her fridge, and she was showing that for her food, she has half a tomato because she uses half a tomato for her food, and she leaves the other half for tomorrow, so to eat with her food. And she says also she doesn't know the price of chicken anymore because she hasn't bought chicken for a very, very long time, and she tries to get her protein from other ways.
And that's one person supporting herself.
Yes.
Imagine if you have a family.
Yes.
So rent prices increased about 300% this year. House prices increased about 50%. At the same time, the Islamic Republic state media just put out a program saying that, yes, you should have children. Everyone should have children in Iran. Please have children. People are outraged, saying, how can I afford children if I can't buy a house and I can't even afford for my own basic expenses? Up yours is essentially what they're telling the government at the moment. And as a result of the shortcomings of the government, which, by the way, have been there for 47 years, we're just seeing the result of it. The regime has fewer options to shield its soldiers and its elites from the economic shock that is coming. For example, December 2025, when the uprising began, $1 was 1.4 million rials. Today, in August of 2026, a dollar is 1.9 million rials. Did they manage to improve the economic situation in Iran after the massive uprising? No. Are there more sanctions placed on them? Yes, absolutely. In fact, the Department of Justice is slamming down on the supporters of the Islamic Republic who are in charge of money laundering and cyber theft. So today, the DOJ charged 17 Islamic Republic associated people. And if we actually open up their link and go into the website of the Office of Public Affairs, down here we have a treat. Let's look at this. Oh, there it is. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. These 17 people of the Islamic Republic are charged with conspiracy to commit computer intrusions, wire fraud, everything you can see. They threw the book at them completely, and each of these counts are 5 years in prison, 20 years in prison, 5, 20, 20, mandatory. It's just not looking good for these people. But here's the thing. What does 17 people going to jail or prison about this have an effect? It's just 17 people, right? This is a stark reminder and a signal to more people like this. Okay. I have a statistic for you guys. Let's take a look into Russia real quick. Let me talk about this. This is Russia. You'll see a stark, actually, a very strikingly similar experience in Iran right now if you want to pump gas. These lines that you just saw here are the same thing in Iran at the moment. You have miles long lines. You want to grab gas, you actually got to put in about a couple hours of your day to go get about half your tank filled up, repeat it a couple days later. So in Russia right now, because there was severe shortage of oil, they're importing gasoline from India. Iran also needs to import gasoline. They export crude oil, they import gasoline for their cars. Their shortage is about 20 million liters of gasoline a day for the consumption needs of Iran. Russia and the Islamic Republic are in the exact same situation right now. Visegrad is reporting that if you want to pump gas in Russia, you can only find gasoline in about 28% of the gas stations in Russia. 28%. So 1 out of every 4 gas station you go to is where you can pump gas. The other 3 that you tried, no luck. Sorry. The Islamic Republic is facing a similar problem. And so, how long until these things blow up and force people back out on the streets? That is the question that needs to be answered. And it's a tough question to answer, to be honest. But once we know the answer to that, we will let you know the day that the Iranian people will finally rise up against the Islamic Republic. What do you think about that?
Again,
Russia, Islamic Republic, same boat.
You know, Ukraine attacked the Islamic Republic by attacking the refineries of Russia, because a lot of the because it was Russia's refineries that were used to be able to give a usable car fuel from the oil from Russia to the Islamic Republic. So a lot of the economic devastation that the Islamic Republic is facing right now is because of Ukraine.
Yeah. And Armin, they even struck ships carrying arms and equipment from Russia into Iran.
Yeah. Yes, that is a more direct one that everybody knows. You know, I mean, it's a more like it's an obvious attack on the Islamic Republic. But it's interesting that Ukraine has actually attacked the Islamic Republic in other indirect ways as well, and in actually even more severe ways than that, right? Because this is fundamentally crushing the Islamic Republic. So this is Ukraine's revenge on the Islamic Republic for all the drones, the Shahed drones that the Islamic Republic gave to Putin to kill Ukrainians.
And vice versa, the Islamic Republic can't import gasoline from Russia because Russia doesn't have it themselves.
Exactly.
And if it wanted to import gasoline from any other country, the IRGC need to be able to get those ships through the Strait of Hormuz, and there's currently a blockade. So that's impossible as well. Meaning what? There is going to be an indefinite gasoline shortage that gets worse with every passing day because it's something you consume, doesn't just replenish out of nowhere. It's going to get much worse. Inflation is going to get much worse. Unemployment is going to get much worse. And for about, I would say, 3 months now, we have seen various protests. Do you remember the students? They came out protesting, the unemployed, the laid off. Every time a steel plant or something gets laid off, hundreds of workers come out. They start protesting right outside the factory. Remember the last time that happened in 1979?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the spark. Yeah.
That was the spark. The factory workers came out.
Yeah. And also 7 years ago in the Bloody Aban, there's a lot of resemblance to that as well. Most of the uprisings in this region has been the spark.
Yeah. Economic forcing of a uprising. So let's get into what the Islamic Republic is up to, their nefarious ways. Let's begin with the bounty that the Islamic Republic has placed on Donald Trump. Yes, they're not stopping at all.
Another?
They paid another bounty on Donald Trump. they're claiming that they need to now mine the waters off the coast of Florida. Yeah, there's some things going on. There's a lot of finger pointing by each other as well, and a new law that they implemented about contacting foreign media. So let's get
Yes.
into it. Take a listen to this, guys.
تا الان 81 میلیون تومان جمع شده برای قاتل ترامپ. آقای دکتر هم رندش کردن 100 میلیون تومان از طرف خودشون گذاشتن رو.
She's saying, up till now, 81 million toman have been gathered to eliminate Trump.
That's nothing.
81 million toman. That's
Then she
800
rounded it up.
is that
Who
like
rounded it up?
$800?
I don't know. Can you buy it? Like, I don't know. I think you could buy an ice cream with that. Go play it again.
میلیون تومان جمع شده برای قاتل ترامپ. آقای دکتر هم رندش کردن 100 میلیون تومان از طرف خودشون
آقای کی؟
گذاشتن رو تو این پویش ما رو
دکتر.
همراهی کردن. تا الان 81
Okay,
میلیون
so-
تومان برای کشتن ترامپ شما پاداش
That's
دادید. ببینیم.
$400.
Woo! Wow. Ridiculous.
Look how excited. You know, guys, it's weird because she's talking about like, so far we have this much for killing, for the murder of Trump. This is the price for the murder of Trump. But we also rounded it up to this much. So now we have this much for the murder of Trump. She's talking about it as if she's talking about like, I don't know, googly moogly sabat mikore. Like she's talking as if she's being so cute about it. Like, what the hell? You're talking about murder, lady. What is that
Yeah.
tone? 400
so again,
bucks? Wow.
It's rounded up, by the way. Anyway, take these threats seriously. I would rather take them seriously if someone threatened my life. Okay, let's get into the finger pointing. This is where we will tell you guys what's going on. All of y'all remember this man. This is the parliament speaker of the Islamic Republic, Ghalibaf, who was for a period of time the number one man before he lost the top dog position. He's come out with a couple of statements, some things that are quite interesting to say. Is this the... There it is. Yes. I knew I got it. Take a look what he said. Ghalibaf said, Americans think squeezing Iran harder will win concessions that were never part of the agreement. Besant and Hegseth are way out of their league. Stop waiting for the clown crew to pull a rabbit out of their hat and clean up the mess you made. Oh, someone's a little angry that the United States stopped supporting him indirectly. He's a little angry. What do you think?
And that reminds me of Eric Cartman. I think Ghalibaf on the phone with President Trump. So you know the scene? You're squeezing my balls here. You're squeezing my balls. You know which scene I'm talking about? I think like
no, I haven't seen it.
We should make an Eric Cartman version of Ghalibaf on the phone with Trump, saying like, "You're squeezing my balls here, man. Squeezing my balls. Give me a better deal."
So
you guys know? Do you guys know what I'm? Do you guys know the reference? What I'm talking about? Okay, anyways, go ahead.
I didn't watch that episode, but he actually came out, and according to Iran International, he's telling us, specifically to us Americans, the Strait of Hormuz is going to stay closed until you lift the blockade, lift the oil sanctions, give us all of our frozen assets, which are hundreds of billions of dollars, remove all your troops and all that. We heard that before. That's the conditions of the Islamic Republic. So he's aligning himself more with the other factions right now, kind of, putting his head down for a bit, pulling up his collar, trying to sneak by. And then at the tail end of his speech yesterday, he said that Iran's adversaries are seeking to foment unrest and combine it with military operations, assassinations, and separatist activities. There's an Islamic Republic supporter in our section called Alligrams that's upcoming who actually said something just like that. We'll get that soon to you guys. But we're going to go through what Arakchi and Pezeshkian has also said, the foreign minister and the president of the Islamic Republic. One thing to note out for is that Ghalibaf will be going to Iraq tomorrow. And we're not really sure why, but yeah. So here is Arakchi. Again, guys, these are in Farsi, but we'll translate them, and you'll get a really good idea as to what the Islamic Republic is up to, the finger pointing, what's going on. Make this a little bit faster. There we go.
هیچ درخواستی برای آتش‌بس از طرف آمریکا نبود. برخی از کشورها درخواست می‌کردن که بیان مثلا پا جلو بگذارن، ارتباط ایجاد بکنن، میانجیگری بکنن. پاسخ ما به همه اونها روشن بود. پاسخ هم بهش اعتقاد داشتن که ما آتش‌بس نمی‌خوایم، ما خاتمه جنگ رو می‌خوایم. نمی‌خوایم جنگ 12 روزه که با آتش‌بس متوقف شد ولی چند ماه بعد دوباره تکرار شد. این نمی‌خوایم تبدیل بشه به یه الگو که در کشور ما
So here's the part.
نمی‌خوایم، ما خاتمه جنگ رو می‌خوایم. بکنن. پاسخ ما به همه اونها روشن بود. و پاسخی بود که رئیس جمهور هم بهش اعتقاد داشتن که ما آتش‌بس نمی‌خوایم، ما خاتمه جنگ رو می‌خوایم.
So this is his response of we don't want a ceasefire. We want an end to the war. What do you think?
So he's acting like they have a lot of leverage. Wait, am I frozen?
Oh yeah, you got frozen for a second.
All right, am I back? Yeah, he's acting like they have a leverage. It's like you know how we say like we don't want a ceasefire or a peace deal with one total surrender. He's basically saying like only good deal for us is a total surrender. And the only reason, you know why he's talking like that now, because he wasn't talking like this before. But do you know, Ali, this is a confirmation of our predictions. You know why he's talking like that? Because
he likes going from camp to camp.
Yeah, and the current camp is now the no negotiation camp. I think he sees that. So, guys, the Islamic Republic negotiating team talks tougher when they know there is no hope for a deal or a negotiation or an agreement. So given that they can see that right now is going to escalate and the chances of an agreement is very, very low, they use that opportunity to at least try to internally look like they were always tough. You know what this looks like, Ali? When you're fighting a big guy that is bigger than you, you're trying to be conservative, you know that the guy could take you out, right? But then if somebody comes and holds your hands, then you're like, oh, let me have it, and because you know you're not going to be able to go, right? So he feels tied and he knows that he's not going to be able to get a deal right now. So given this is a good opportunity to just act very, very tough, because there is no potential agreement that he's risking. If there is no potential agreement that he's risking, this is the time to speak more radically, so at least you could use as a way to save face with the internal people, the internal radicals who are saying that you are being soft on Americans. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. No prospect for a deal. Let's buff up our words, puff out our chest, start talking loud. There's one slight problem. Arakchi also says at some part of this 2-minute clip, let's see if we can find it real quick.
از همه اهدافی که داشتن ناامید شدن. خب خاطرتون هست دیگه همون روز دوم سوم جنگ بود که ترامپ یه توییتی زد در 2 کلمه. دنبال تجزیه رفتن، ناامید شدن، دنبال اغتشاشات داخلی رفتن.
Okay, anyway. He says that the main proponent for negotiations was Pezeshkian, the president of the Islamic Republic. Did you hear that as well?
Yeah.
So,
wow. That means that
Here
they're
it
throwing
is.
him more under the bus. Like they're shoving him even deeper under the bus.
در زمانی که آمریکایی‌ها
So he's saying when the Americans requested negotiations, Pezeshkian, keeping the position he always had, believed that we should respond to these negotiations and negotiate with the Americans. That's a little bit like throwing people under the bus to me. What do you think?
I think he was already under. I think they threw the bus that they throw him under a different bus.
Yep.
That's what they did. Like he's deeper under the bus that he has ever been. I think they made him a house under the bus. I think they made him the mayor of the area under the bus. That's what they did.
Guys, the president of the Islamic Republic, his biggest role is not to decide, is the country going to go to war or this and that. He doesn't have any power like that. They told him to sit down, be a good boy, shut up. Except he didn't shut up. He's fighting back on them because he knows that from the beginning to the end, he has one role. Armin, what's his one role? The best use they can have for him.
I take the blame. You know what is you remember in Rick and Morty that robot, like, what's your purpose? You pass the butter. So for Pezeshkian, is like he became president. Like, yay, I'm president. What's my purpose? You take the blame.
Yep. You're the scapegoat.
Like,
You're the fall guy. Everything is your fault. Whatever we say is your fault. You're just gonna have to take it. And he doesn't want to take it.
Yes. Yeah. By the way, this is big coming from IRGC. That means that you're right. IRGC has moved to the anti-negotiation camp because who threw Pezeshkian shouldn't be thrown under the bus by IRGC. He should be thrown under, like, IRGC should be on Pezeshkian's camp. Given that he's like, it was him, not us. That means IRGC is now switching again. He switches a lot, IRGC, right? Remember one time he left Ghalibaf and went to IRGC and then he came back? He's switching again. We could see. We predicted this, by the way. Remember, because we said weeks ago that, things are changing. The Islamic Republic is going to go back to, the people who are anti-negotiation are going to soon have the upper hand. Given that we saw Mohsen Khalrazi came out and said Mohsen Rezai is going to take the position in the National Security Council. So we saw the writing on the wall. And now that IRGC is blaming, basically saying it was Pezeshkian's idea, it shows that everybody else is thinking that this is the direction that things are heading.
Yep. The foreign minister of the Islamic Republic is blaming the president of the Islamic Republic.
His boss. Well, I mean, like, for us, it's okay, but let's be clear, guys. He's not blaming him directly. Like, he's saying, like, it was his decision, so we did it. It looks like for the language doesn't look like blaming. The language looks like giving credit for it was his decision, right? But it is blaming because we know who he's talking to. He's talking to all the people internally who are anti the negotiations, and he's like, hey, it's the vote of the people. He is like, we respect. They're basically copying Ali Khamenei's homework, right? Every time you have to do something that is unpopular, you basically say, well, the people voted for the president. We have to respect the decision of the people, the vote of the people, and we have no choice but to, accept their demands and by listening to the president. That's that's how you do it. And everybody else is now doing the same thing now that Khamenei is dead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So more pointing fingers, more turning sides and dropping alliances. We have an image for you guys.
I hate that guy.
This is Iran International. The man in the middle is the host of the show. The man on the left is a guest invited on to speak. And the right is also a guest. But the right, the man in the gray, the one who looks like, that thing, is part of the Islamic Republic. Interestingly enough, this is probably 24 hours after the Islamic Republic passes a law saying if you talk to any foreign media, you will be jailed immediately, prison, execution, torture, etc. Boom. Next day, one of the Islamic Republic analysts goes on TV with Iran International, who is a foreign media. They're not based in Iran. And yeah, nothing happened to him. A little bit of hypocrisy, never did anyone any harm, right, guys? Apparently not this guy either.
I watched the segment. He was this guy is so evil. Like, he was misrepresenting everything. And somebody in the chat says, why is he wearing Western clothes? But to fool people. Because let me summarize his arguments, right? He was saying that, yeah, obviously the Islamic Republic is not good, and there's a lot of criticism and all of that. But when President Trump comes and says that they're going to take over the Strait of Hormuz and make it U.S. territory, then it doesn't yet, then this is not an attack on the Islamic Republic. This is an attack on Iran. And we need to first prioritize pushing against threats like that before we go and fix our issues with the Islamic Republic. That was his argument.
Yes. And guys, we have some breaking news coming up for you guys about an Israeli operation now being launched across Syria and Lebanon at the same time. But before we get to that, let's hear about the ridiculous news of this guy. This man is another Islamic Republic analyst, similar to the one that we just clowned on. It's time to clown on this guy. Armin, this guy came out and said that we have to mine the waters of Florida. He went into great detail saying we have to use smart mines, whatever that means. We have to use the Quds Force, the IRGC Foreign Legion. We got to send them to Florida. We got to use smart mines. And we got to incur casualties on the civilian shipping, the commercial shipping, the military shipping, put pressure on them, force them to shift their attention away from the Middle East back to, America. Right. Absolutely. How are you ever going to get anywhere close to Florida? You can't even get past the Persian Gulf. Also, you and who? You have no army. Half your army is unpaid, and you want to send them across the world to go fight the American people are armed. You might not even need to have the American military take you out. The Floridians will probably take you out themselves. I'm sure you guys have all heard the headlines, Florida man does X or Y and Z. I don't think these people know that. They have no idea. But going back to the serious piece of news, take a look at this. Today is 40 days after Ali Khamenei, the former supreme leader of the Islamic Republic, has been buried. And 40 days after someone is buried, you mourn them. And on the last day, which is today, there was a ceremony once again. Everyone showed up. Ghalibaf, the sons of Ali Khamenei, everyone except for the most important person, Mojtaba Khamenei, the current supreme leader, nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Didn't show up for his daddy's funeral. Didn't show up for his second daddy's funeral. And then here's the other son of Khamenei. They're all acting like, oh man, oh my God, look at this. Oh no, he's dead. Oh man, it's terrible. Oh man, how could they do this to him? Yeah, even Ghani's there. Yeah, no one's shedding a tear. Anyway, good for the appearances there. So let's take a look at what the Islamic Republic supporters are thinking. Let's close these out. All right, guys. So, guys, we have a section called Alligrams. I'll go into the IRGC group chats. I'll grab their messages, and we'll show you what the general mood of supporters of the Islamic Republic in Iran is. And our first one is coming up to be translated. The Islamic Republic made a mistake. They put a poll on Twitter and they asked their supporters, hey, what about, raising the prices of gas here? And people are like, what? No, never. And then in Iran, they took to the forums here and they said, certainly, with the change in the price of gasoline increasing the price, inflation is going to explode and the economy will collapse. Dissatisfaction will reach its peak and push the country towards economic collapse. Plus, the people will not tolerate this change in any way possible. This is the most open week or two of rebellion that I've seen. All of them are on the same page. Increase the price of gasoline. You're going to force the people to come back on the streets again. This is not Iranian people. This is not me and Armin telling you guys this. This is the supporters of the Islamic Republic criticizing their own government officials. That's not the only person saying it. More and more. And we've shown you like 10 plus messages just like this. So another person to the same post. Make gasoline expensive so that you can see with your own eyes the all-out explosion of our country. Please don't play to the enemy's hands. It's probably a little bit better in Farsi here. I'll just put that in case you guys want to read it, or if you want to read it, Armin.
Yeah, and guys, these people are so ignorant when it comes to how the economy works. They think like fuel prices are just numbers on a screen that go up and down based on what the president decides. And the president is just deciding to make the prices go higher. They don't understand that there's just not enough fuel. There's just not enough of it. You don't have the fuel and you don't have the money to buy it. You don't have the money to refine your own oil. You don't have even the refineries to make it. There is not enough to go around. What do you think is going to happen? What did you guys think is going to happen when you wage war against the whole world, against the world superpower? What did you think is going to happen? You think fuel prices going up because your president is like, oh, let me make the number go up. Oh, look at this number go up. I want to cause these people to suffer. Yay, let's go and make the number go up. Do you really think that why are you doing this? Stop making us suffer. Hey, president, stop making the number go up. We like the number to go down. Why are you doing this to us? He's not doing this to you. You did this to you. You did this to you when you chanted death to America. You did this to you when you chanted death to Israel. Anyway, this idiot is saying بنزین رو هم گرون کنید تا با چشم خودتون انفجار همه جانبه مملکت رو ببینید. Like, okay, go ahead, increase fuel prices so you could see the entire society explode from all sides. So it's like, please, this idiot is telling the government not to increase fuel prices because if they do it, the whole society is going to explode and collapse.
Yep.
Not knowing that they have no choice. It's either increased prices or shortages. If they artificially keep the prices low, then everybody will run out of supply. There will be nothing for anybody left. Everybody's going to go get it at the low prices and there will be shortages. It's either high prices or shortages. There is no other alternative. There is another alternative. You could stop being the Islamic Republic. That's alternative. But short of that alternative, which basically surrendering and letting go back. I want to read that right. Short of that, you either have high prices or shortages, and the shortages are actually worse than high prices. And then look at this. The last line is saying, "To zameen dushman bazi nakonid lutfa." Like, don't play for the enemy. Like he's saying to the president, stop increasing oil prices because you're helping our enemy.
You're playing into the enemy's hands. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Oh, it's so great how stupid these people are.
I wish it was Ali. Imagine if it was that easy. Like, oh, really? Oh, oil prices low? Good. Okay. I will put a different number on my screen. Would that solve problems? I didn't know that's how the economy works. I didn't know presidents could go and decide, let's make oil prices go down, fuel prices go down, and then they will just will just be down and available in the same amount for everybody.
Then they start pointing fingers at each other. This person saying, so Haji Sadeghi is the Supreme Leader's Office representative towards the IRGC. They just make up positions these days. I don't know. This guy's saying this gentleman, with this amount of lack of insight, it's insane how he became the head of the Supreme Leader's delegation to the IRGC. A lot of IRGC are confused because of this gentleman's incorrect analysis. Again, the English translation is a bit off. I mean, if you don't mind reading this while I talk about it for just a second.
Okay.
A lot of people in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps are confused. Who do we follow? The Supreme Leader's office? Do we follow our commanders? Who do we follow? And then you have people who come out and start spewing different viewpoints. No one's, they don't have a collective opinion on something. They're all fighting each other on different points. And so people at the lowest rank are getting more and more divided, which is something that this person here is telling us. Yeah. So go ahead.
Is he talking about Rezai? This is talking about Rezai, right?
I think he's talking about this person.
Sadeghi. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Okay. So yeah, now I get it. Okay. So he is a representative of the Supreme Leader in the IRGC, right? Yes. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. So it's این آقا با این حجم بی‌بصیرتی من موندم چطور شده رئیس نمایندگی ولی فقیه در سپاه. بعضی از برادران سپاهی به خاطر تحلیل اشتباه این آقا دچار دوگانگی شد. Like, I don't know who decided that this idiot becomes a representative of the Supreme Leader in the IRGC. Many of our IRGC brothers have wrong analysis because of this guy, and it has caused division within the IRGC because of this guy. Ali, this is interesting because so this guy is shocked about why this man has managed to become the representative of the Supreme Leader within the IRGC, right?
Yeah.
But Ali, who picks the representative of the Supreme Leader in the IRGC?
The Supreme Leader.
It should be the Supreme Leader. I mean, if the Supreme Leader does not pick his own representatives, are they actually the Supreme Leader's representatives? So isn't he indirectly criticizing the Supreme Leader?
Except he's too stupid to know that he's doing that.
Oh, man. Yeah, maybe you're right.
So he blames he blames the representative instead of the person who's telling him to say these things. It's all good. Yeah. Armin, I have one of the best posts so far to share with you, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but before you do that, somebody Muhammad in the chat is saying, "Are Muslims welcome to this channel?" Yes, if you can handle the heat in the chat, and if you can handle us, yes, or if you can handle us being very aggressively anti-Islamic, then you are, yes, of course.
Yes.
But go on. Sorry,
Again,
I interrupted you.
We are not anti-Muslim. We are anti-Islam. The whole ideology, the whole religion. So again.
Yes. Oh, look at that.
We will
He's saying, sure, I am okay with that. Then you are welcome to stay here. And we, in fact, want more of you here. Thank you. Sorry, Ali.
Armin, could you read this for us, please?
Ali, I interrupted you. I'm sorry. You were going to say something.
No.
Yeah, okay.
No, this is this is one of the best posts. Guys, this is like a random person in the discussion group for the IRGC who posted this. Can you read this for us? Point by point.
Okay. خب پازل داره تکمیل میشه. سقاب بنزین رو گرون کنه. اوکی. سو بنزین رو گرون کنه، سایبریاش بندازن گردن جلیلی و سمسامی. کردستان عراق با این دست خبرسازی ها و فضا رو به حمله زمینی آماده کنه.
Can you tell us so far what that means?
Okay, so he's saying like, okay, now the puzzle is now being complete. Okay, so they're going to increase fuel prices, and then their online, their online people, the online bots, will
The
blame
propaganda.
Jalili and some. The propagandists will blame Jalili and Samsami, basically the more radical ideologically people. Yes, okay. کردستان عراق با این دست خبرسازی ها فضا رو برای حمله زمینی آماده کنه, and then the Kurdistan region of Iraq is going to create the news and create the conditions so that they could do an ground operation from Iraq into Iran. فشار رو مردم به حد انفجار برسه و نارضایتی ها و شورش داخلی شروع بشه. So the pressure will become so high on the people inside Iran, so the people become unhappy with the regime and unhappy and become and want to do an uprising. So riots, internal riots will start. And then number 5, terrorist داخلی داخل کشور, the terrorists inside the country will become activated. And then number 6, the Kurdish, in parentheses, United States, مرز غرب رو به هم بریزن. So the Kurds will mess up will cause chaos in the western borders of Iran. That's number 6. Number 7, Iran در موقعیت ضعف امنیتی قرار بگیره. So Iran will be challenged from a security perspective. That's number 7. Number 8, Zarif will come write an article. Number 9, امتیازگری غرب شروع میشه. Then the West will come and get so many points in the negotiations. And then lastly, this is the most optimistic one. This is not the worst. So basically, this guy is saying, I see the plan. I see the plan of our enemies, right? They're going to increase the fuel prices to cause chaos, uprisings, and then the Zionist terrorists will become activated in our country, and the Kurdish parts of Iraq, under the leadership of the United States, will attack from the West, while we have internal security issues because of the fuel prices going up. And I think he made it more complicated. All he's saying is that I know what the Americans are trying to do, causing unrest internally by higher fuel prices with their agents inside Iran, like Pezeshkian, and then blaming it on the warmongers, while also attacking us from the Kurdish region of Iraq at the same time. And to do that, to put us in a position of weakness, so that the so-called reformers could then come up with ways to do a deal with America that is in America's interest. That's what he's saying is happening.
Probably one of the smartest Durkas there is, Too bad no one's going to listen to him. Shh. No one's going to listen to you.
But the problem is that he kind of is a conspiratorial as well. Like he thinks that all of this is happening
to make a deal
with the people within the regime, right?
Yeah. He still thinks that the regime is going to survive and there's going to be a deal, and
he thinks that this is being done with the collaboration of the people within the Islamic Republic to make this all happen.
Yeah. But other than that, though, he's right, except for just that one part.
I don't know if he's right about the ground operations by the United States from Kurdistan, by the Kurds. I don't know.
Yeah.
He thinks the Americans are going to do ground operations using the Kurds from the Kurdish part. I don't think the Kurdish the autonomous Kurdish region of Iraq is interested in that.
Yeah, probably not at this point.
Yeah.
But about the gasoline prices, the internal division, getting more points in those different ways, the propaganda, yeah. Then we have this one. This one is a good point. Guys, think about this. So this guy's saying, before the revolution in 1979, were we saying death to America? Before 1979, did we say death to America? No. So why did the American coup d'etat take place then on August 18th? He means the here, can you tell us the date of this? Here.
Well, okay. Where am I reading the whole thing?
Just this part. Tell us when.
Mordad. This is midsummer.
Yeah. So
End of midsummer. Yeah, midsummer.
So America, by its own admission, masterminded more than 70 coups. Do all of these countries say death to America? He's trying to get at the fact that we weren't saying death to America pre 1979, and if they're saying that the coup in 1979,
I'm sorry. You're talking about a historical event. Yes, okay, yes. قبل از انقلاب هم مرگ بر آمریکا میگفتن، پس چرا کودتای آمریکایی 28 مرداد اتفاق افتاد. This is about the Mossadegh coup.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Sorry, I didn't read the full context. I just thought that's the date he's referring to. 28 مرداد. This is the Mossadegh coup. I mean, Mossad, yeah, so قبل از آمریکا هم مرگ بر آمریکا میگفتیم، پس چرا کودتای آمریکا 28 مرداد. So okay, so the context is, now I understand what's happening. So people like me and Ali tell them that this is your fault. You waged war against America, and now America is coming and finally responding, right? And this guy is saying, before the Islamic Revolution of 1979, we were not chanting death to America, but America still tried to do a coup d'etat inside Iran when they tried to remove the Mossadegh, the elected government of the people, which was Mossadegh, which is a lie, by the way. The Americans did not do a coup. Mossadegh was doing a coup against the Shah, and the Shah, without much help actually from the Americans, managed to survive and basically resist that coup attempt. So the coup d'etat was not by the Shah against Mossadegh. The coup d'etat was by Mossadegh against the Shah. Mossadegh was not elected by the Iranian people, and Mossadegh had no legal right to remove the Shah. And the Shah had, under the constitution of the Iran back at that time, the Shah had was completely within its legal rights to remove Mossadegh, and it couldn't even be a coup because a coup happens from the coup. The Shah could not be doing a coup against Mossadegh because a coup happens from the bottom up, and according to the constitution of Iran, the Shah was above Mossadegh, not below him. Mossadegh was doing the coup, and a coup has to be illegal for it to be a coup. And what Mossadegh was doing is illegal, and what the Shah was doing was completely legal. So Mossadegh was doing the coup, not the Shah, and the Americans were not doing a coup. This is a leftist propaganda that people believe to this day. America was not doing a coup. In fact, when Mossadegh was doing a coup against the Shah, documented evidence shows that the Americans thought that Mossadegh was going to be successful, so they were planning on starting to work with him instead. And then the last minute, everything turned against Mossadegh, and the pro-Shah loyalists came to the streets and removed Mossadegh, and the Shah came back. And the Americans actually there's documented proof that the Americans were surprised that the Shah managed to make it back, which shows that the Americans weren't even planning on helping the Shah. So this is a lie. This is a leftist lie that people believe till this day.
Yeah. But also, if the Americans conducted 70 coups, which the Americans say themselves, how come all those countries don't say death to America? We weren't saying death to America until the Islamic Republic showed up.
Right. So let me answer this. Somebody saying, wasn't Mossadegh trying to make Iran into democracy? No. Mossadegh was Mossadegh and his people were attacking and beating up anybody who criticized Mossadegh. Okay. Mossadegh was working with communists and Islamic terrorists to eliminate their enemies. Mossadegh, in a fake referendum that he had no legal right to put a referendum, he put the yes and no separate from each other in two separate parts of the cities so that he could engineer a referendum, because people know that if you voted no against them, because the yes and no votes were separate from each other, you could see who's voting no. And he used an intimidation tactic so that people vote for him instead of against them. Because unlike every other ballot box that yes and no's go into the same box, he actually separated them. And Mossadegh is famous. Mossadegh, who's supposed to be the person who was nationalizing the oil for the Iranian people, which was the Shah's plan. The Shah at first put Mossadegh in power because the Shah wanted to nationalize the oil for the Iranian people. But Mossadegh used that opportunity to try to gain all the power for himself. And he said that the oil in Iran belongs to the Ummah, to all the Muslims worldwide, not to the Iranian people, but to Muslims. That means that every Muslim around the world, Muslim around the world has a right to Iranian oil. So, no. The answer is no. That's one of his most famous quotes, by the way. He said that the oil of Iran belongs to all Muslims around the world. So, screw that guy.
Yeah. Screw that guy. And then we have our last one. So, this person is saying poverty, class divide, unemployment, explosive housing prices, both for purchasing and buying, and renting, the terrible high cost of basic household items and food, the thousands of incurable pains that have overshadowed the lives of honorable people, the middle class being destroyed, and the high amount of poor. If they were to fix these problems first, then they can go towards the problems of hijab. That's because the Islamic Republic, as we've seen recently, is cracking down on hijab even more. And this person is telling Pezeshkian, the president, why don't you crack down on it more? Well, one of the supporters of the Islamic Republic comes out and says, you got to fix all of our other problems, buddy. We have 1,000,000,001 problems before we get to the problem of who's wearing the headscarf and not. Wanted to show you guys this one because if they didn't have these problems of these economic problems, they would be like, yes, hang that woman because she didn't wear the headscarf. But because they do, they're like, hey, first deal our economic problems, get rid of them first, and then go worry about the one with hijab. Again, so just money is the most important thing to these people. So
we again, Ali, didn't we
Mhm.
mention like a couple, like that this is going to become, like, I specifically said that they're going to talk about hijab, and just a couple of like it's been more than a month now, and they weren't talking about hijab, and now it's just, it seemed like they were waiting for me to say they're going to talk about hijab now, and then all of a sudden hijab is back on the table.
they were waiting for you to say that.
Yes.
You shouldn't have said it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Guys, last night, Israel conducted 4 airstrikes on a Syrian military base. This is confirmed by the Prime Minister of Israel's office and Benjamin Netanyahu himself on 2 separate occasions today. Benjamin Netanyahu today said that Israel and Syria had agreed to a status quo. They agreed we keep our security and our national interests like this, and then Syria was on the verge of breaching this agreement by letting Turkish troops deploy at a Syrian airbase near Aleppo. Israel told Syria that if you did this, it would be a threat to Israel's security, and Syria ignored us. So because Israel will not tolerate these threats, we conducted those airstrikes, and we would welcome a return to the status quo. At the moment, they are continuing these operations. So we have explosions in the Syrian city of, what is this called? Tartus. These are unclear as to what they're caused by, but as you can see, it's right there on the coast, and that's north of Lebanon, just north of Lebanon as well. At the same time, Israel is conducting an incredible amount of airstrikes on multiple different villages. I actually think I have the list for you guys here. Brachit, Alcantara, Ali Al-Taher Ridge, and Dahwat Kafar Reman. I don't speak Arabic, I'm sorry, guys. Or I'm not really, but also the Nabatiyah. So that's pretty much all across of southern Lebanon right here is being airstruck with some big ordnance, it looks like, by the explosions. See if I can get these images up for you guys here. So yeah, this is what it looks like at the moment. Got some mushroom clouds. Zoom in as much as I can. Mushroom clouds in southern Lebanon at the moment, and artillery strikes that are also going on across the villages as well. So the Israelis are standing firm, not letting any country even come close to breaching these different agreements. And so I'll also have this picture as well. So these are going to be the couple different villages currently struck. So there's one dust cloud on the right there, and then in the distance, there's also another explosion that lights up the sky. If you notice why it's so light up, it's because the Israelis do use phosphorus to light up the sky for their ground operations to be a bit more effective, or their artillery, or their airplanes, etc., etc. So that's what's happening right now, and since last night, and then Israel and Qatar also have a bit of a scuffle, but not kinetically. Israel has now halted all defense exports to Qatar. Previously, they were selling them equipment that they had received from the United States, like air defense and avionics, but that is all done. Nothing anymore. Not even maintenance equipment that will be related to anything that they've previously sold Qatar. At the same time, the United Arab Emirates came under attack today, even though the missiles missed the UAE. The UAE has retaliated in two ways. So, first of all, the UAE Ministry of Defense announced that they detected 2 ballistic missiles from Iran towards the UAE, which just missed their land. It landed right off the coast in the water. Maybe faulty, maybe on purpose, who knows? Probably on purpose, they landed on the water there. But as a result, the UAE has strongly condemned this. And they've also done something else. For the first time, they also released a letter, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They said, that's it, buddy. We've had enough, Islamic Republic. We will no longer trade with you. Yes, that's it. All right. So yeah, it says right there, rejected all reject all starting economic relationship before. Yeah, there we go. So no more trade going on. We have no more economic relationship with each other. And that comes one day, by the way, one day after the 60-day ceasefire period, negotiation period, the 60 days that they had to talk between the U.S. and the Islamic Republic. One day after it expired, the Islamic Republic fires missiles towards the UAE. Single day.
Ali, I want to say this is good, but are you kidding me? Like, only now you're doing this?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, they have been bombing you. They have bombed you more than they have bombed Israel. Like, it's like, oh, now you've gone too far. Like, isn't it embarrassing that it took you this long? You know, they paid the Islamic Republic, I think, maybe $3 billion for them to stop attacking them. Okay, so what did I get you, UAE? What did I get you? You funded them. You funded them to shoot again more at you. Like, that took you how many weeks did you buy with that? Now they're back at it again. I mean, like, everybody in the world, all nation states, pay attention. This is what the Islamic Republic does. You pay them not to attack you. They attack you anyways. Have you still not learned? Have you still not learned? Do not negotiate with these terrorists. They will always backstab you. It's not worth it. Do not deal with them. You could trust the Islamic Republic to stab you in the back. Like, the UAE was getting attacked, and instead of them going aggressive mode and defending themselves, they flew a plane to Tehran with money, with billions of dollars of money. Look what got that for you. Look at this. Look at what the Islamic, like, Ali, how many times do you have to tell people It's not worth it. Like, what does the Islamic Republic have to do to prove to you that their nature, this is their nature? They will always do this to you. Like, every time they're sitting there, like, maybe this time we will be different. Maybe we could change them. Like, I could fix them. I could fix them. You know how you see that? In some couples are like, I know he's bad, but I could fix him. You cannot fix him. This is their nature. This is their DNA. It's within their foundation for them to be again. Guys, UAE, listen to me. Their goal is eventually to conquer you. Saudi Arabia, everybody, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman. You guys are at the top of the list. At the top of the list because you're right there. Bangladesh, they want to also take Bangladesh. Japan, they want to take Japan. They do. I'm not exaggerating. They do. But they're so far down the list. You guys are first. Eventually, you're dealing with people that eventually want to take over you. I promise you, they want to take over you. That entire region, they think it's theirs. They think you're occupying their land. Why are you dealing with them? Eventually, these people think like you want temporary ceasefire? You're dealing with a monster that is feeding off of you. Every time you negotiate with them and you give them something to get a temporary ceasefire, you're feeding the beast that is getting bigger and bigger and eventually it's going to come try to swallow you whole. Why are you feeding it? They're like, oh, if I feed it, maybe it will not be angry. If you feed it, it's going to get bigger and it will eventually come for you. What are you doing? Stop. Everybody, the whole world needs to get together and end this cancer. This is a cancer upon this world. Why are you feeding it? End it already.
I completely agree, Armin. It gets better, though. You guys might get 3 rants today. Before we go into France, where the third rant might happen, Saudi Arabia has placed financial transfers to the UAE under extra layers of oversight. These extra layers are actually only placed on countries that are considered high risk for crime and illicit money flows. This is a sign of a widening of a rift between Saudi Arabia and the UAE, at least on a financial level. And as per usual news, the Houthis once again hit Jazan, huge oil refinery for the Saudis there. It was hit once again. No new information on that. Some people are saying there's fire. Some people are saying there's not. But that's becoming, it's hard to report it as the news when it's happening every other day. But why don't we quickly go up into France, where we could possibly have our third rant? So, the foreign minister of the Republic of France has written another letter. Remember, guys, he released a letter last week saying, yeah, Islamic Republic, listen to the Iranian people. Stop executing them. Maybe listen to their needs, which we clowned on, rightfully so. This time, he's taking the opposite stance and saying, here's what it is. So he's saying, and this is in response to the Islamic Republic literally slapping up 2 French diplomats and kicking them out of Iran a few weeks ago. He's saying, so it says, the Minister of European and Foreign Affairs, Jean-Noël Barrot, has declared 2 people persona non grata, which means we're expelling them out of France. The ambassadors of Iran and France, we're kicking them out according to Article 9 of the Vienna Convention. So this is after extreme aggression that the Islamic Republic security services conducted on our ambassadors to Iran on the 19th of July, which is actually a month ago. Felt like just 3 weeks ago. And because of that, we're kicking them out. And yeah, we hope that the Islamic Republic changes its ways, I guess. Yeah.
They literally
All right. Well,
beat
thank
up
you.
their, like, the French embassy in Iran. The Islamic Republic literally went into that embassy and beat up the people there. They beat them up. And France is like, you shouldn't do that again. We don't like it. Like they still have relationship. They still have officially, like, they have the embassy is open. Like, I don't know what else. Like, hey, can you stop executing people? Also, can you please stop beating our staff? Like, that's not good. That's not cool, Islamic Republic. I don't know. Such a bunch of cowards.
That's it.
Like, yeah, that's it.
Like, Armin, what other country would dare to send thugs into the French embassy and beat up diplomats? Not just any staff, diplomats of the embassy. Slap them up, beat them up, interrogate them for like colluding. Who would dare to do that other than the IRGC?
Yes.
And then France is just like, okay, 1 month later, I guess we've decided that we're going to crack down on the IRGC, and we will also expel 2 diplomats of the Islamic Republic to France. Yes.
We'll keep the embassy. We'll keep a relationship. But did you guys even know this? By the way, guys, did you guys know in the chat tell us, did you know like a month ago, the Islamic Republic just walked into the French embassy and started beating up people in the French embassy in Iran? Did you guys know that?
Yep.
And a month later, this is the response.
French embassy in Tehran, IRGC walks in, accuses a couple of them of like conspiring against the Islamic Republic. They take him into a room, they start beating them up, slapping them, asking them questions, and then they kick them out of the country. And then this is it. It's just, stop it, Islamic Republic, stop it. Don't do that.
We're going to kick out. We're not going to shut down the embassy.
What kind of a weak response is that?
Yeah, and Ali, we're not even going to shut down the embassy. We're not even going to shut down the embassy. We're just going to kick out 2 people. You beat up 2 people, so we're going to kick out 2 people.
That's pretty bad.
Wow.
So, go back to the map here.
Says like, I'm surprised the French didn't surrender.
It is surrendering.
It is surrendering.
It's absolutely. Yeah. It's like, hey, you beat us up, but like, we're not going to do anything back. We'll just symbolically expel 2 people from your embassy. They didn't even say who 2 people it was. Like, was it even, important people, or were they just, was it the janitor? I don't know. Okay, so let me just double check. Yeah. All right. Guys, Google is pulling out of China. Anyone heard about that?
No.
Google, one of the biggest companies in the world, are now pulling out of China by the end of this year. That's a surprise announcement. They're pulling 100% of its Pixel smartphone, smartwatch, and any sort of audio devices manufacturing, all of that manufacturing out of China by the end of this year, so another 4 months. The Pixel smartphone for Google is its flagship device that they sell the most in China, and it's produced in China. In fact, all of it for the world is produced in China, and they're just, nope, no longer. We're pulling out. Is this maybe some pressure from the US administration on the back end? Did Google wisen up and see the future and pull out preemptively? Or did the Chinese Communist Party put some pressures on Google that, maybe made business hard for them? Whatever it is, that's going to be a, significant rise in cost for operations of Google. But apparently they're going to expand their operations across Vietnam and India, direct competitors to the Chinese economy here. Yeah.
Vietnam. Yes. Vietnam is becoming such a good alternative to China. Love Vietnam. Very capitalistic country with communist symbols still, but very pro-American. Very pro-American, becoming a major ally of the United States with a fast-growing economy. Vietnam is such a great alternative to China in that region. We know when it comes to factories and everything else.
And then, it's great news, really. Like, Vietnam actually imports $40 billion worth of technology components, like electrical components, minerals, production things that you need to build electronics from China. So it looks like Google was just like, hey, if Vietnam's importing all of the things that we need to build our phones, but China's too expensive or too hard to do business with, let's just move to Vietnam. They're already importing all of that. We'll contract all of our supply chain to those companies and just keep on building it over there. Not a bad idea. I mean,
I was in Vietnam. I was buying a bag for my wife, and the lady there was like, look, this is Chinese, this is Vietnamese. And she was making me touch it and see the difference. And like, look, the superiority of the Vietnamese manufacturing compared to the Chinese. Like, look, they're supposed to look the same, but this is what the Vietnamese are doing. It's what the Chinese are. She was so proud. She was so proud. Like, look at her. She was so happy, showing how better the Vietnamese is. Yeah. I could see the pride in her face, and I was enjoying her being so proud, showing me how much better the Vietnamese product was.
Was it better?
It was significant. I mean, I don't know bags, but I was touching it. Like, this is better.
That's good.
Even I could tell it was better.
Right. And then, quick note on the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Got some info that there's 2 points before they deploy the USS Theodore Roosevelt, which is this ship, and it's going to the Middle East. This is going to be potentially the third. Maybe there's going to be 3 carriers stationed there at the same time, unless it replaces the Bush. 2 things. One, they're doing some repair work on the deck of the aircraft carrier. They're replacing the slip coating, the anti-slip coating on the deck surface. And then the United States military, through contracting, actually put in a request for 35,000 uniforms with a delivery deadline of no later than September 8th. So until the 35,000 uniforms show up, or they replace the deck, which you guys can see actually is under construction here, they're not going to leave. So that's a bit of a delay. If they're going to leave mid-September, by the time they get to CENTCOM will be early October, perhaps. That's the deadline that we're kind of looking at here for that aircraft carrier. The George Washington, though, is pretty much almost there, I'd assume. We haven't been able to find it. A lot of clouds have been in this region currently, in the Arabian Sea or the Indian Ocean, whatever you want to call it. But presumably it's somewhere around here, off the coast of India. Going to relieve the Abraham Lincoln, supposedly.
Let those boys and girls go home and rest. They've been surveying for so long. Yeah. By the way, can I respond to this? Miss Hypnotic is saying not at the top. They're still communist. Vietnam is not communist. It is one of the most capitalistic countries I've traveled to with communist symbols. I mean, go to Vietnam. Tell me it's communist. I saw the communist flag next to Prada and Louis Vuitton stores and so many of the top brands. The people there are shopping. They're earning money. Go look at the Vietnamese stock market and how much it's growing. The Vietnamese stock market tells you otherwise. Go look at the people's Vietnamese opinion about communism and capitalism. The Vietnamese people are very, very much pro-capitalism and pro-American. You can see communist symbols everywhere, but Vietnam is an aggressively capitalist country with a growing economy, one of the fastest growing economies in the world right now. So, yeah.
So, guys.
Oh, look at this. And the communists in the chat saying, this is weird copium. Okay, Samantha, do you want me to show you the Vietnamese stock market that you refused that it exists? You refuse that it exists. I'm going to show it to you because you, as a communist, you're coping that this even exists. You denied that this is even is a thing. So I'm going to show this to you here. See, you told me that this doesn't exist. Vietnamese Ho Chi Minh stock index, and then we have the stock here. Look at this. Look at this. This is the Vietnamese stock market in Ho Chi Minh City. So there you go. See? Copium. Yeah, copium is you denying that Vietnam is a capitalist country and that it has a private market and it's growing. Yes.
I'm going to grab some water real quick. Do you mind starting us off with the super chats? I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, Vietnamese coffee is delicious. I've been there, guys. They have this egg coffee, which is awesome. That's true. I don't know. Vietnam, which is a country that the top U.S. brands and companies are moving to Vietnam, and Vietnam has a lot of trade policies with the United States and the rest of the world, opening its economy to the world, allowing the top world brands and U.S. brands and U.S. companies to come to Vietnam. Yeah, that's not how I don't think that was Marx's understanding of how communism works, right? So I think anybody who calls that communism, they're the ones who are coping. Free trade, stock market, private business, yeah, I don't think so. Look at this. Samantha is saying you can have international trade and still have national communism. What about a stock market? What about private businesses? What about liberating the economy and having less regulation? What about free, not international trade? What about free trade? What about removing the barriers to trade? What about the growing private sector? What about privatizing things and reducing the government involvement in the private business? What about all of that? Is that still Marxism and communism, Samantha? Because I think you're coping. Anyways, hi.
All right. So let's get into the super chats. We got a goat trophy straight away from Fun Sun.
Goat trophy. Goat trophy.
And thank you, Harold, for the gold coin as well. Yes. And our first super chat is from Qalibuff. Qalibuff liked, subscribed, says, I hope. Wait, how many did you send? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. He says, I hope you win today, Addy. Typical for me to say one thing and mean another. Good luck, Addy. Confetti. 10 super chats in a row, all sent to you, even though he wants me to win. Wow, which means you won the race within the first 2 minutes.
Dang. Wow, very Qalibuff like.
Some people would say that's cheating, but not me though. Some people would say that. All right, Qalibuff, I see how it is. You're getting your directions, your plans from Armin.
Well played. You know what, Qalibuff, I haven't been giving you some. I have been withholding advice for you on the Persian channel, and you changed my mind. I will continue giving you advice to keep you in power. Keep watching my Persian channel.
Sheesh. Okay. Well, thank you, Qalibuff. Like and subscribe. And our next super chat is from Surush, phone contact. It says, Armin, my love, when you eat, screen your co-host full.
I wasn't eating. I was chewing gum.
Oh, why? I see.
Yes, Surush. Surush is trying to teach me manners. Guys, does me chewing gum annoy you? But thank you for the super chat. Was that annoying? That was chewing gum? Is that unprofessional? Should I stop chewing gum on air?
No, I don't think.
Let me know.
I didn't even notice it.
Right? Now, see? He didn't even notice it. But thank you, Surush. You know what? I'm going to chew with my mouth open next time now. Like, Surush, this is for you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is for
Yeah.
Surush.
Surush, I wouldn't eat with my mouth open.
Okay.
And thank you for the super chat. Our next one is from Northwest Chickpea, who says, "It's nice that we finally found a prophet an atheist will follow."
Yes. Yes, he's talking about, and she's
Who's the
talking,
prophet?
that's Shana. She's talking about me as an atheist who doesn't follow any prophets, but I do follow prophet. Prophet with an F.
Oh, okay. I was like, why did she spell it that way? Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
Prophets,
But because
like
we were
money
talking about
prophets.
prophets and yes. Being capitalist.
I see, Shauna. Thank you. Or Northwest Chickpea. And Fun Son, thank you for the jewels.
Thank
your
you.
favorite username.
Thank you, Francis. Dumb motherfucker
Says, been away on travels. Armin and Addy, what are the biggest signs of downfall we are seeing? What's your conservative estimate on the end, example, months or years? Use Toolman method and you will win every debate. All right, I've never heard about that, but here's what's happening. The price and the availability of gasoline is causing everyone, whether you're Iranian people or Islamic Republic supporters in Iran, to rise up against the government. The government makes most of its money from oil. It's not selling any oil. Most people in Iran are employed by the government. The government has no money to pay them. The longer that continues, people don't get paid. Those are the biggest signs. Conservative estimate on the time. I'm going to tell you, I believe this wholeheartedly. I don't think it'll take more than conservative by the end of Trump's term, so 2 years. Anything other than that, I'm not fully confident, but yeah, we'll see. And I know, giving a time like that, I know. That's just what I think.
Yes. Yeah, so I try to not give it time because I don't want to raise people's hopes, because I tell people that we need to, because we don't know. And we have to keep fighting the Islamic Republic, and we have to be ready for all scenarios. We have to fight in a way that the Islamic Republic might be falling tomorrow or 10 years from now. And the problem with giving a timeline is that when it doesn't end up being true, and if you pass the time that you told people that this will happen, if it passes that, then when many people were hoping that it would happen within that time, if it doesn't happen within that time, then a lot of the motivation and energy that they had for continuing to fight will go away. So that's why we look at the progress, right? We look at the fact, instead of looking at how far. So when you are climbing a mountain, if you want to encourage yourself, stop looking at how much farther you have to go and look behind you and see how much progress you have made to get more energy. You see, like, wow, I climbed this much. Don't measure the distance that you have to your destination. Measure your destination from where you have started, because that will encourage you, right? Especially if you can't see the mountaintop and you can't know exactly how far it is, then trying to measure it might take away your energy, take away your motivation. The way I look at it is that the Islamic Republic is a poisonous tree, and we all have picked up a hammer, picked up an axis, and we're all swinging our axis at this tree. So, from different angles, different types of axes from different angles, and we have no idea when this tree is going to come down. The way I see it, we don't know which swing from what side is going to bring this tree down. We don't know, but we do know that if we just keep swinging, it will come down. That's what we do know. And we could see that we have how much we have done and how much progress we have made. We could see that. And that should give us the encouragement to keep swinging. And the way to go about this is, instead of making it about the destination, making it about who you are. make an identity out of it. Whether the Islamic Republic falls today or falls tomorrow or falls 10 years from now, who am I and what am I doing? I'm fighting. I'm fighting for the liberation of my country, and I fight the Islamic Republic. If it ends tomorrow, I'll keep fighting the Islamic Republic till tomorrow. If the Islamic Republic falls a year from now, I keep fighting the Islamic Republic from now till 1 year from now. If the Islamic Republic falls 10 years from now, I will keep fighting the Islamic Republic from now until 10 years from now. That's the way, that's what I know. And yes, we are seeing a lot of signs that the Islamic Republic is getting weaker and weaker, a lot of signs. And we can see that the Islamic Republic has never been this weak. So we know that we have made a lot of progress. This is more of a marathon than a sprint. So if you want to make this fast, then you might run out of energy. If you treat a marathon like it's a sprint, then you're not going to be able to finish it. So we have to treat it like it's a marathon.
And thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
Our next one is from Fizz Engesis, who gave us a super sticker. Also, just went through a hurricane, doesn't have power or anything, has to use a Starlink and a generator. But thank you for the super sticker. I hope you're doing well.
Thank you.
And our next one is from Ariane of Persia, saying, once the fall of the Islamic Republic becomes perceptibly inevitable to the regime, moderates or pragmatists like Ghalibaf position Araghchi, how are they likely to respond? Are they going to defect, flee, or maintain their loyalty? So once once the Islamic Republic sees that this is it, it's game over for them, they're going to go all out, launch all their missiles and everything at everyone, and then a lot of them are going to run away. The remaining ones, the people may decide what to do with them.
Yeah, I don't think they have much of a choice. Like, I don't think it makes much of a difference on what how they respond. It's really when the Islamic Republic falls, it's really up to the Iranian people, and what their response is going to be somewhat irrelevant, right? So what happens to them depends on whether they get to survive the first few hours after the Islamic Republic falls, right? Because if they don't, because the Iranian people, if they get their hands on them, they would tear them to pieces, right? If the masses manage to reach them, right? If somebody manages to secure them and arrest them and put them under arrest, so the best thing that could happen to them is some part of the armed forces that have defected as have joined the people shows up at wherever they are and arrests them. If they get arrested, they gotten very lucky, because if nobody arrests them, then the Iranian people would reach them, and I don't know what will happen to them if the Iranian people reach them, right? So if some armed forces defect and they manage to reach them before the people and arrest them, then they could put them in a secure location for their eventual court hearings or whatever, right? So either they can escape, or they get arrested, or the Iranian people will reach them. If the Iranian people reach them, they will get turned into pieces. If they get arrested, then they will have their court hearings, and they're probably going to get lifetime prison sentences. They probably are not going to get executed. Well, we'll see. Actually, depends. But based on what Princess of Pahlavi's standards are, they might not get executed. The Iranian people want them to get executed, but we'll see. And the best thing that could happen to them is that if they manage to somehow escape. So I guess that's the only agency they will have left. If they manage to escape, but what they say and how they respond to the Iranian people, that is not going to really change the outcome. Does that make sense?
We'll hunt them down wherever hole they go to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, he did include the responses: defect, flee, maintain loyalty. They will try to defect, very unlikely, because nobody will buy that. Maintain loyalty and defect is basically the same thing, because nobody cares about what they're saying. So the options are whether they manage to flee or they don't. They will probably try to flee. They know defecting or maintaining loyalty will not make a difference. They will try to flee. Where would they flee to, Ali?
Afghanistan, Russia, China, perhaps. Any of the stands, really. Pakistan, Afghanistan, Tajik, Kyrgyzstan, whatever. Turkmenistan. They'll flee to all the stands. It's easy to get lost
Venezuela.
there.
Venezuela was supposed to be their destination. Most of the highest ranking officials, their goal was their backup was Venezuela, and all of that went away when Maduro was removed by President Trump.
Yeah. Also blockades. So, I mean, thank you, Ariana Persia, for the good question. As always, much appreciated.
Yes.
And
Great question.
CJ, thank you for the super chat. It says, "Yay, Ali." Yes.
Yo, Ali.
So, guys, when would would a live after this live be a good option for you guys? What do you guys think? For me to have like a 1 hour live stream?
I think you need to have a gap in between, no?
I don't know. Whatever the people decide.
You have to. Okay, so you have to do trial and error. Oh yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Thank you, CJ. And Physendricist, who says, super chat for Armin's rant.
Yeah.
Good rant.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I saw a lot of people liking that, so I was started. Okay. I thought people would get annoyed. Was it, guys? Is it annoying that I rant? Because some people were saying, "I love ranting. I love Armin ranting facts. Armin rant. I miss Armin's rant." Sean is saying, and then Deborah was saying, "Armin's rants are so good because they are so logical and factual." Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. I thought they were annoying.
No, I don't think so. Who told you that?
So, I used to do it so much, and people are like, "Armin, you sound like a crazy person." Stuff. So I was like, maybe I sound professional. More wrecked. Okay.
And our next super chat is from Mir Schreiber saying, "I don't think the X poll was a mistake, but part of the strategy to just make a small increase." Yeah. But the more attention they draw to it, I think the more they remind the people that, although this is such a hot topic that they can't even mitigate it. So I guess you're right. They could just play into it. Might as well redirect that rage. Thank you for the super chat, Mir Schreiber. Good insight.
Thank you.
And Justin, who says, our next super chat from Justin Lefevre, is there absolutely any possibility that the Islamic Republic will get so desperate, get so suffocated that they would actually surrender? I know you guys have been telling us they never will, but is it possible? Parts of them will, and people will take that as the entire Islamic Republic surrendering. That's not true. If the people genuinely holding power somehow in some universe surrender, even then, a lot of people under them, Basij, the orcs, the super indoctrinated people, will still cause problems, set off bombs, assassinations, etc. So you're not going to see a Western-style peaceful transition of power. Not at all. Partial surrenders, I can see that.
Guys, nobody put me in check. I was listening to the people in the chat. I listened to you guys. So shut up with that comment, whoever you are. But Justin, let me see. Is there absolute? Okay, is there absolute? Okay, so surrender. Ali gave the perfect response, because when you say talking about the Islamic Republic, you're not talking about one person or a monolith. There are going to be many people within it who are going to try to surrender, and many people within it who are going to resist until the final end, because they know that surrendering because they're afraid that surrendering will mean their complete downfall, like it will lead to their death.
Yeah. Otherwise, if they were smart, they would have just given up their nuclear program. And thank you, Justin, for the super chat.
Thank you.
And Fit Over 50 Fitness, thank you for the jewels.
Thank
And
you.
our next super chat is from Northwest Chickpea, who says, why are the Arab governments like this? Because they had it good. They had it good for a long time. They don't want to change.
It's like a trust fund, kid. It has nothing to do with being Arab. Okay, it has everything to do with oil just gushing out of the ground, and you just being, you become unproductive when you don't have to work for that much profit, for that much revenue, right? Why is it that a parent that has worked so hard to build a business and becomes a multi-millionaire, and then many times the kid becomes incapable of understanding the basics of a business? Because not all the time, but many times, because they don't, because the struggle teaches you. The struggle makes you efficient, makes you creative. Is the limitation of resources that makes your society learn how to produce the most efficient way. And these countries, all of a sudden, when you put a shovel in the ground and oil starts gushing out, then you don't learn, because you don't have to work for money, because everything is just easy to get.
Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. And our next one is from Catherine Waters. Says, do you feel better, Armin?
Oh, yes, of course. I feel like that was just a one-day thing. Well, thank you, Catherine. That's very kind of you to ask.
Nice. Yeah, thank you for asking.
It's very sweet. Thank you. Just needed some more sleep.
And our next super chat is Northwest Chickpea, who says, wow,
Shauna.
I didn't realize you... Shauna.
That's
yeah.
Shauna in the bathtub.
No, I know. I just thought since they changed their username, maybe they want us to read that. But says, wow, I didn't realize you could use your whole butt as a white flag, but Macron found a way. Always finds a way. Don't underestimate the French. They will always find a way.
We love you, French people. We're talking about your government, not you guys. Love you.
We do.
Vive la France! Vive la France!
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
And Amir Schreiber, who says, heard about it, but French getting slapped in the face and doing nothing is no news. Yep, that's what Sean is saying. Absolutely. That's funny. Someone in the chat also asked.
Oh, is France on your yeah, exactly. I was thinking the same thing. I think, guys, France is going to stop surrendering once they become jihadis. The whole tradition of surrendering might be going away. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mix of it.
Funny super chats. And Shauna, again, with the super chat, thank you very much, saying, not surprising about Google. This is what Trump has been doing. Vietnam is a beautiful country.
It is a beautiful, profitable, capitalistic country. And I love it, yes.
Is Jewish Samantha in the chat?
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully, they said they're pulling out their production of those products. I hope all other also gets pulled out as well. So we'll keep an eye.
By the way,
see if more companies
can I be fair, actually? Okay. So Vietnam is politically communist, economically capitalist. But honestly, communism is more about the economy than the politics of it, right? Marxism is a economic doctrine, right? But politically, it's a single party rule, right? It has Marxist-Leninist symbolism, and they have state authority, right? But economically, they have private property and enterprise. They have foreign direct investments. They have a stock exchange. They have profit motive rules over everything. And I know Samantha keeps like to say like, oh, but the government owns all the land there, but land ownership by state is not what defines communism. Like, it's illegal. It's just like a legal framework that completely coexists alongside the private market. The private companies are flourishing there, and it's not run by state-controlled companies. So even though, yes, the land is true, the land is owned by the government, but the private market is where, like, the economy is ruled by the private market, and everything is functioning based on the profit motive. Like, you just keep saying that the government owns the land. That doesn't make it communism. If everything is being run by the profit motive, that's capitalistic.
Thank you, Northwest Chickpea.
It seems like I know. Look at this. Saying the government still controls major core industries like energy, banking, and telecommunication. Okay, that is, Samantha, and I know that that's not the definition of communism, right? That is a country that has transitioned from communism to capitalism, and not everything has been privatized yet. And the economy grew when they stopped being communists. When they stopped being communists, their economy grew. So what does that tell you about, Samantha? I know you're communist, but what does it say about communism? When Vietnam grew, their economy grew significantly when they stopped being communists, even though some industries are still publicly owned. What does that tell you about communism? Anyway, sorry, Ali.
No worries. And actually, Shauna was going to defend Samantha here and say, in defense of Samantha, when we found her, she was embarrassed about her belief in personal toothbrushes. Yeah, Samantha didn't believe in personal toothbrushes. There had to be a communal toothbrush.
No. She said that toothbrushes are the only thing that you should own privately. But Samantha is like Vietnam, okay? So Samantha used to be a communist. She's less communistic than before, and she's a better person because of it. Vietnam used to be a communistic, and it was a shithole when it was, and now it's a prospering country. The less communistic it is, the more prosperous it's becoming, right? So just like Samantha, that keeps getting a better and better person by moving away from communism, Vietnam is becoming a better country by moving away from communism. Yeah. But it's obviously not 100%. It's not like everything just became private overnight, right? It's not like just because Vietnam is no longer a communist country, that means that they managed to privatize everything. Obviously, there's a transition period, but you can see the transition is towards capitalism, and the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
And thank you, Shauna, for the super chats. Our next one is from Miss Hypnotic, saying, I was talking about China. Which part?
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. So she was talking about China when she said they're still communistic. Yes, China is more closer to communist than Vietnam, but I will still not call them communist. I will call them state capitalism. I mean, it's hard to call a country communist when you have private companies, when you have a stock market, when you have created the financial market in Shanghai that is trying to compete with Singapore at becoming the financial center of the East Asia. Like, it's hard for me to call you, if you have private ownership and the profit motive and stock exchanges and all of that, you're not communist, a communist country anymore. But state capitalism is still bad. State capitalism, I mean, nothing is as bad as communism, but China is state capitalism, and that is still bad. There's 4 types. Okay, we have laissez-faire capitalism, we have regulated capitalism, we have crony capitalism, and we have state capitalism. Only one of them is good. Regulated capitalism is the only type of capitalism that works. Laissez-faire capitalism doesn't work. Crony capitalism doesn't work. State capitalism, which is what you have in China, that also doesn't work. But that's how I define what China is.
Thank you, Miss Hypnotic. And thank you, I'm your sensei, for the jewels. And Miss Hypnotic also followed up with another super chat saying, someone said China was capitalist now, and I responded.
Right. Yes.
Nice. You guys are on the same page.
Yes. Yes. And China is state capitalism, and that's why so it's not proper capitalism, but that's why their economy exploded. Even though state capitalism is garbage and kind of like communism, it's still so much better than communism. And China transitioning from communism to state capitalism is the reason why their economy grew. But obviously, it's not the full potential of China because they don't have capitalism, which means that they don't have liberty. They don't have proper capitalism because state capitalism still misses liberty.
Thank you, Miss Hypnotic. And Tractor with our next super chat saying,
Pofuse
used to say the economy is for donkey.
Pofuse is like a swear word in Persian. Pofuse. So he's referring to Imam Khomeini, Ruhollah Khomeini, the founder of the Islamic Republic and the first supreme leader of the Islamic Republic. He used to say, "Iqtisad mal khar ast," which means that the economy is for donkeys. Basically, this is actually very interesting. This is people make fun of Khomeini because he says like the economy is for animals, right? Not for humans. This is actually very interesting because what are humans, right? So humans are social animals. That means that other animals care about their economy, okay? And humans, along some other animals, care about their economy and their social life, right? So what is your economy? Your economy is what you eat and what you consume, right? So animals, non-human animals, are concerned about their economy. So Khomeini was basically saying economy belongs to animals, but because he considered humans to be spiritual, right? So if you're focused all on the economy, means that you're focusing on consumption. But humans are spiritual. That means that if people who are concerned about the economy, they're being concerned about earthly things like a donkey, okay? Like a donkey that wants to just eat grass, right? But here's what so there are other social animals, for example, chimpanzees and I don't know, any lions, right? But the higher level of this is that humans are far more than social animals. They're political animals, right? So from people who are religious, consider humans to have an economic aspect, which is wants to consume, a political, and then a spiritual dimension, right? But this is basically this is a joke that a lot of people make against Khomeini, which is a good joke because he said like, why should we worry about the economy? We should care about our spirituality rather than the economy. But this actually goes into a debate regarding what humans are. What is the nature of humans? Are we economic animal? Are we economic? Are we spiritual? Or are we political? Like what occupies our minds the most? Because it is true that once our basic economic needs are met, then we become either spiritual, we focus on our spiritual, social, or political needs. And many political philosophers throughout history have argued that humans are naturally political animals. Anyways, I'm getting into so much detail, but this goes into the nature of humanity and Khomeini dismissing the importance of economy. I, as an economic essentialist, think that everything is economical, including spirituality and politics. But I'm not going to go into it. Yeah.
We'll get into that in the future more and more.
Okay.
And thank you, Tractor, for the super chat. Our next one is from Sarah Ocean. Says, hugs for my hardworking homeboys. Javi Cha.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Javi Cha.
Javi Cha, Sarah. Thank you so much. Sarah never stops supporting us. She's always here having our back.
Always
Thank you so
positive messages. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Flying Robot Duck with the jewels. Thank you.
Thank you, 100
And
joules.
our next one is by Cristiano Ronaldo. Says, Iran and Cuba will be economic miracles once free. Yeah, I'm not too sure about Cuba, but I know Iran will be.
No, Cuba Libre. Cuba will be free.
I don't know anything about the Cuban potential to be an economic powerhouse.
Well, okay, what causes prosperity?
Liberty.
And everywhere, any place on earth could become an economic powerhouse if it has liberty. And I truly believe that everywhere on earth will have liberty. Everywhere, every nation state will one day be liberated. So including Cuba, including Iran. And that means that every nation state will become economically prosperous.
So you think even Pakistan could be economically prosperous if they have liberty?
Very much. Okay. I think 100 years from now. I'm just kidding. No. Yes, I think in 100 years, Pakistan will be more prosperous than USA today. But USA will be obviously way ahead of everywhere else. But Pakistan in 100 years will be more prosperous than USA today. That's how. Yeah.
And thank you, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Look at this. People are saying, "LOL." I don't think so. You underestimate what 100 years is. I'm not saying Pakistan will be more prosperous than USA. I'm saying Pakistan then will be more prosperous than USA today. I'm not saying Pakistan will reach United States. I think a lot of you are misunderstanding what I'm saying. And for you to understand that I'm 100% correct about this, just please look at where were we 100 years ago. 100 years ago, if you could press a button and your house would light up, and if you could move something and the temperature to control the temperature of your room, if you could turn something and water will come out of water will cup falling on you at the temperature that you want from the roof, you would not any person that could do that would not be called a king. It would be that person would be called a god. Anybody that had that much control over its environment. People in Pakistan today, the middle class in Pakistan today has a richer life than Marie Antoinette. So yeah, we already have done that progress. So I'm 100% certain that from 100 years from now, the lifestyle of the average Pakistani would be higher than the lifestyle of not just the average American today, but the American would be higher than the average billionaire today. That's what I know. But just look at where we were 100 years ago and you'll realize that I'm telling you the truth. So like Omid is saying, even the ones shitting on the streets, that guy would be dead. What are you talking? I'm talking 100 years from now. That guy shitting in the street in Pakistan would not be alive. But okay.
I shouldn't have started this. Okay, I was just kidding, guys.
No, guys, look at this. People are saying, wow, Armin has a lot of faith in Pakistan. Oh my God, guys, I'm talking about the worst place would be still better than today's best places. Pakistan will probably still be behind other places. Do you not understand what I'm saying? I'm saying the worst case scenario would be better than the best case scenario today. What are you talking about? You guys are not understanding the words that are coming out of my mouth. You don't need to have faith in Pakistan. I'm having faith in humanity and technology and capitalism.
Gotcha. Well, let's move past Pakistan. And our next super chat is Northwest Chickpea, who says, I love French Creoles and Cajuns. Does that count? Yeah. Yeah. Does count. I wonder what the French will be in 100 years. No, I'm just kidding. Let's
I
stop.
don't
Let's
know what
stop.
that means.
Oh,
they're oh, never mind.
No, let's see. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Thank you, Shauna. I think that counts, personally. I think it's valid. You can like them and not like the French government. And our next super chat.
People are still not understanding what I'm saying. Somebody is saying, why Pakistan and not Iran? Oh my God. What are you talking about?
No,
I'm
guys,
talking about
let's go past it.
This is a good conversation, Ali. It's fun. It's okay.
And then we have this person who sent us a super chat saying, why did you remove all the stickers of Goldie? Why are you sending us super chats? Aren't you like anti?
Because people
Zionist?
like you were misusing it for sexual commentary against
That's
her.
disgusting.
This Muslim guy, this anti-Israeli Muslim guy, were making vile sexual comments on her, and people like you were using her emojis to do so.
Idiots. And then, by the way, absolute idiots who do send us super chats and membership gifts. Just and then types lol in the chat. All right. Anyway,
By the way, thank you for giving me an opportunity to show people how vile people who are anti-Israel, how vile they are. This is so good. I love this opportunity. Thank you.
And then we have an absolute angel in contrast to the last person, Joanne, who gifted a membership. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hope you're doing well.
Thank you, John. Thank you always for supporting us all. Yeah.
Then we have Steve Dixon, who says, there are no more Cubans in Cuba. The ones in Florida will not return. Burkina Faso is a free country, just like Cuba will be one day soon. Cuba will never be what it was because they don't have Cubans, which is what made it great. His argument is that just like how the Iranian people are the greatest assets of Iran, the Cuban country has lost its Cuban people. They all immigrated out, and so it will never be as good because of that.
Well, never say never, and we shouldn't give up on any country, in my opinion. We should not give up on any country. We should fight for the liberation and prosperity of every inch of land on this earth. And I believe in Cuba, and Cuba would be one day free and prosperous. And I think we should have that attitude towards everywhere.
Yeah. Also, I mean, they're very close by as well. A lot of Cubans are in Florida or I think New York. They're not scattered across the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure once Cuba is liberated, many Cubans would want to go back and build their country.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve Dixon.
So Steve is saying free, yes, but prosperous is a problem. If you get freedom, you will get prosperity. I truly believe that. If you get freedom, you will get prosperity.
Yeah, just might take a few seconds. And thank you for the super chat. Our next one is our next one is from Northwest Chickpea. Says, I don't disagree, Armin, but Bronze Age collapse, declines, and disasters happen. Technology gets lost. This is just for argument's sake.
I agree with actually that proves our point here. Because even with the greatest disasters, zoom out and see the level of progress that we have made. Even with the greatest setbacks and the greatest disasters that maybe made humanity fall back behind for so many years, they recovered, and it keeps on growing every single time. So this shows that not even the greatest declines and disasters managed to hold us back, right? And also, so if you say, like, if you're talking about the next 100 years, that might not be the case. I truly believe that the level of acceleration in our growth is like truly unprecedented, and technology is really hard for technology to get lost. So back then, if technology was getting lost because it wasn't global, it was local, right? Technology today is global. It spreads everywhere. So it is, if you have, in ancient times, if you had a group of people had a technology, if they got wiped out, then because that technology hasn't spread across the world, it will die with them. That technology would die with them. But right now, as soon as something becomes technology, everybody everywhere in the world copies it. So it's hard for technology to die unless the human race gets erased, because it spreads so fast. But good point.
Good point.
Yeah.
Both of you, good points. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that concludes our super chats. So, we are here every day, every 24 hours, to give you guys the latest updates and analysis on what's happening with the Islamic Republic and which direction we're heading into. And so far, it seems like we're heading into a pretty good direction. So again, the two things that should be happening this week, Scott Bessent is going to be unleashing economic fury harder on the Islamic Republic. Perhaps it's already happening. Perhaps it's happening right now and we just don't know it. Maybe he's not announcing it. It's something that we'll find out ourselves. And the USS George Washington, it's currently on its way to the theater as well. So we'll be covering all of that plus more for you guys. And Armin, with that.
Oh, thank you to everybody who has liked the stream. Don't forget to like the stream. It really helps us grow. Appreciate you guys for liking. And with that, I'm Israel Chai. Slava Ukrainian. Cuba Libre. Taiwan Jiayo. Long live America.
Javicha. Payende Iran.
Iran. See you guys same time tomorrow.